Good morning. I made it. I was looking for something that I had posted earlier on my news feed, and I couldn't find it. And then I look at the time, and it's like 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes to go to the video, and I still hadn't put my shirt on or turned on some of the brighter lights. Anyway, good morning. It's the day after July 4th here in the United States. And the title for today's talk, which is actually tomorrow's talk, is A Better World. Are we almost there, Mommy? That was a question we asked as kids on the way to Grandma's house in Pennsylvania, except it was directed to Daddy, not Mommy. It was probably a 4+ hour drive back then, before the interstate highways were in place. But as kids, it seemed like forever. Yes, I remember it. It seems that way now as we move ever closer to turning the world around, getting the attention of those who have seen themselves as our authorities, our leaders. Sometimes it feels like it is going to happen any day now. Sometimes it feels as if it will never arrive at all. Some people don't even know that we are going somewhere else other than where we have always been, in an insane world run by lunatics, the macrocosm of the way most run their own lives. For me, I'm trusting the nurturing and reaffirming inner voice of Mother Goddess. That's my choice. What's yours? The comment that I was looking for, that I had made, I've been up, by the way, for almost 3 hours already. I got out of bed at 2 o'clock, and I had been awake since between 1 and 1:30, and I could not fall back to sleep, even though I didn't go to bed till 10:30. Anyway, Armand, my friend Armand, of Armand and Angelina fame, he posted a thing about the fearless non-theism by Pema, P-E-M-A, Chodron, C-H-O-D-R-O-N, which is a YouTube video. If people request it, I'll put it in one of the comments or something. But anyway, fearless non-theism is about not believing that there's a God to hold our hand. It's about not holding on to crazy hope in the world. It's about accepting the reality that life is about suffering. I mean, maybe that's not the whole message, but that's what I heard. That's what I dissonated with, as opposed to resonating with it. I dissonated with it. And downplaying hope, I put this comment on his page. I mean, I see the video, but the thread that I made a comment in 2 hours ago, over 2 hours ago, or thereabout, that my comment's gone. I mean, it doesn't exist there, and even his comment on the movie, he says, "Oh my God, this is some of the clearest spirituality I have ever heard and seen. Thanks, Perma and Lynette," or Pema and Lynette. Anyway, I have spent my entire life with the belief and the hope that I could make a difference. That has increased as I have seen the human race waking up, and as I have seen the conditions in our world worsen, which is an indication of things getting better. I know that may sound like a very paradoxical statement. What do you expect from the paradox man? But the fact that they're getting desperate enough so that they're out in the open with things that used to be really secret is indicative to me that they realize we're watching, and they're just, thumbing their nose at us and saying, "Yeah, we know you're watching, so what? We're going to keep doing what we're doing anyway." But they're not getting away with it as easily as they used to. They're not getting away with some of the nefarious plans of black operations that they used to do. They have to be much more subtle now because people are catching on. People are waking up. And I've spent my whole life looking to establish or help establish the kingdom of heaven on earth. When I was younger, I didn't expect to be a participant in that process. I expected God to do it for us. because that's how I was taught. The kingdom of heaven is coming like a thief in the night, and Jesus is coming back, and all of a sudden he's gonna get rid of all the bad people, and it's only going to be the good people left. And that was something that God was going to do for us. And by the way, I had a mouthful of peanuts, or nuts actually, not peanuts, but nuts, mixed nuts. And so I'm still chewing on some of the pieces of those in my mouth, in case you're wondering. But anyway, now I realize that God doesn't do it for us. God does it in and through us. He doesn't do anything for us that we're not willing to do for ourselves. I used to hate that. God helps those who help themselves. I used to hate that saying. It wasn't in the Bible. And where did they get this idea from? I didn't like the idea. And I don't like the idea that there is not a God to hold my hand. Now, granted, I don't see God outside any different than God inside, because inside and outside to me have merged a long time ago, although sometimes they don't appear to have merged as much as I would like. But I recognize intellectually and sometimes emotionally and spiritually that there has been a merger, that there is no separation of inner and outer. There is no separation of ego and self. There is no separation, period. Separation is the illusion. Separation is the lie. But God holds my hand. I wouldn't have near the courage that I've displayed, I hope I've displayed, since I've been doing these videos, and even before that, standing up to the system, if I didn't believe that ultimately I had a chance to win. Even though I knew that any time they could snuff me and make me suffer things that I would not have chosen to suffer. I knew that, but I stood strong. And I continue to stand strong because I want a better world. And yes, Mommy says we're almost there. The goddess in me says, yes, you're making it. Yes, my son, you're making it. And she gives me reassuring words and affirmations that I'm on the right path, that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, because I'm following my heart. I'm following my inspiration. The muse, the goddess, is loving me. Yes, sometimes I wish she had skin. Actually, yesterday, especially yesterday, I wished she had skin. The divine lover. I wished she could be there just to hold me in her physical arms and not just breathe on me with her breath and the breeze from the fans. Oh my goodness. Another thing caught my attention besides the hope issue, and that is this victim thing. Somebody had written that I'm portraying the human race as victims. You're damn right. You're damn right. I'm portraying the human race as victims of an insane, megalomaniacal cabal that has done everything in its power to do the wrong things. They have turned everything inside out and upside down. They've made lies seem like the truth, and truth seem like lies. They've made hatred seem like love. And I mean, the whole thing has been an insane attempt at control, which is what our egos do in our own lives. But our ego, again, it's just simply trying to be separate. And that's the illusion. When you're living in the illusion, you're going to experience a lot more fear, a lot more problems, because you're creating them. Because you believe you can be separate. I shall be as God, Lucifer said. And Michael, as Aristo said in his video the other day, Michael stood up and says, oh, really? Prove it. Prove it. Man was made in God's image, not angels. We are actually, if you want to know the truth, even according to the Bible, we're above the angels. Because we have something they don't have. Now, that doesn't mean I don't believe in angels. It doesn't mean I don't appreciate the ministry of angels. Angels are ministering spirits. But this whole idea of not being a victim, and saying, well, I'm not a victim, when in fact, every day of our lives, we're victims to a corrupt system, a system of lies, a system of injustice, a system of domination. And we are victims. Get over it. That's the reality of our human experience. Get over it. I've been a victim most of my life, and I'm still a victim of what I choose to believe. Or, put another way, I am a product of my own belief system. My life reflects what I think is true. And sometimes what I say is the truth hasn't caught up to me on the subconscious level yet. I haven't totally merged the dark with the light, or the unknown with the known. And there's still a little bit of dissonance in there. But I recognize and I'm willing to embrace the truth, and there was some of that in the Fearless Non-Theism video, of embracing what is. Of course, embrace what is. Face everything and rise. Fear. Face everything and rise up. Rise. Rise above it. But don't deny it. Don't avoid it. It is what it is. And that part of the Fearless Non-Theism message was really, really good. But this idea of not believing that God is holding your hand and not putting hope in things, I mean, hope, without hope, we don't do anything. We have beliefs, and because we have beliefs, we have hope. And because we have hope, we're able to act out of love. We're able to act with compassion. We're able to embrace things that we wouldn't ordinarily be able to embrace, but we're embracing it with an attitude of, we can transform this. We can transcend this. We can overcome this. That's what we're talking about. Overcoming the beast. And the beast is the creature on the planet, the mythological creature that actually has a great deal of influence because we believe in the beast, that the beast is powerful, all powerful, when in fact it's not. It's separate. It's the Luciferian stuff of, I shall be as God. Oh, really? Prove it, Lucifer. Prove it. Really? You're going to be as God? How can you be as God if you're separate from the creation? How can you be as God if you think that you're not part of the web of life? How can you be of God when you lie and you're not in truth? How can you be like God when you are always at war, always polarizing, always creating violence? How can you be like God? That's not like God. That's the opposite of what God is. Don't you see that, Lucifer? Don't you see that, people? That when your ego is trying to be separate and says, I shall be like God, but separate, how can you be separate and be like God? You can't, because that's an illusion. And it's a delusion when you believe it. There is no separation. There's one web of life, and we're all part of it. That's the law of one. And yes, I subscribe in my belief system to the law of one, that unity is more powerful than polarization. And I'm not going to say diversity, because unity exists with great diversity, but there's still unity. And if you can get the perspective of it from a place far enough where you can see the dots starting to connect, you can recognize the unity of all things, even the unity in what seems like, when you only look at a microcosmic element of it, without a microscope, by the way, it looks like there's disunity. But when you back up a ways and you get another perspective, you see how everything is working together for good. And you rise up because you're facing everything. You're not trying to hold stuff at arm's length and keep things at bay in your life. You're allowing the discomfort to come in. You're allowing the shadow elements to be revealed. You're allowing the pain, the loneliness to come up. I did that all day yesterday. And listening to Charlie McLean. I mean, again, over and over. That's been going on actually for the past several days, because I'm feeling lonely. I mean, somebody said that my Venus is in Libra, or Venus is in Libra, and I'm longing for a relationship. Yeah, you're right. At least a friendship where I can spend time with people and hold hands and have some physical interaction. I mean, yeah, to go for a walk on the beach or in the park, or to go and have a meal together or something like that. I crave that kind of friendship. Do I have it? No, I don't have it. I don't. And it hurts sometimes. But are we almost there, Mommy? Yes, I think we're getting closer and closer every day. When is it going to happen? I wish I could give you a date. I know better than to give dates. As soon as you start giving dates, then there's all sorts of people that rise up and try to prevent it and make it so that that's not true. Because we're not unified in what we want. But yet, there is unity in what God wants for us, and that God is in us and holding our hand. And I want to give you hope that we are succeeding. I want to give you a word that we are actually moving closer and closer to achieving the world that works for everyone. And downplaying hope to me, as I commented on Armand's page on his wall, downplaying hope to me is another form of spiritual abuse. It's spiritual abuse of the Western variety, just like it's spiritual abuse of the Eastern variety. The spiritual abuse of the Western variety is saying you're all sinners, and no matter what you do, you're desperately wicked above all things. The heart is desperately wicked. That's bullshit. The heart is extremely loving, extremely powerful. The heart is love. The heart is hope. The heart is faith. The heart is courage. Remember the Wizard of Oz? He needed a heart. That was the courage. Okay? We need the courage to stand in the world and to let our light shine, to let our voices be heard, and to make sure that they are, because we're almost there. It's time to get louder. It's time to get more persistent. It's time to shine brighter. It's time to love more. It's time to embrace life, to embrace ourselves, to embrace the divine and the human, to embrace the masculine and the feminine, to embrace the light and the darkness, to embrace all polarities and let them dance with each other. Because yes, we're almost home. We're almost home. Thank you. Namaste.